I couldn't sleep. The excitement from the time those keys danced was still there in my fingers. Is this how Beatrice, how witches, always feel? I have a friend who's a witch, called Beatrice. She always used to pull pranks on me with her strange magic, because I saw this all the time. I thought I knew what magic was, but today she had possessed my body and used magic with it. The sensation of magic that I finally felt at that time still held my heart entranced. It was a completely unknown pleasure. After all, by moving my fingertips, I could make the key dance as I wished. It was a strange miracle of magic, something humans could not do. I still couldn't let go of that excitement. Shannon, are you awake? What is it? Shannon was still awake. Shannon is always early to bed, early to rise. By getting to bed early, all of her weariness disappears by the next day. She lives a model life, one that all servants should respect and admire. If I want to become a loved, respected servant like Shannon, I'll need to act that way too. However, I wasn't confident that I could do that anymore. I guess I can't become like you after all. What do you mean? This is a bit abrupt. You are my ideal, always. Yeah? Everyone in the Fakun house loves you and is kind to you. Since you always played with me, you're the only friend I've ever had. And you're also a wonderful servant who can carry out any task at the Ushiromiya mansion, both flawlessly and gracefully. You were the target I longed to reach. That's what you were to me. Yeah. Let's give it our all together. As they say, perseverance prevails. Everyone will grow to acknowledge you more and more. So let's aim to become a wonderful servants together. I'm gonna stop being a servant. Huh? Instead of a servant, I'd rather be a witch. Well, what do you mean by witch? I did, and still do, wish I could be a servant loved and relied upon by everybody, but right now, I want to be a witch. Even more. Well, that's, huh? Shannon was confused. It was hardly surprising. All this about quitting as a servant was at least understandable, but she didn't know how to answer after hearing that her roommate wanted to become a witch. A witch. Beatrice. You see, today Beatrice possessed me and used my body to do magic. That unknown world felt so thrilling. It was much more thrilling when I learned that I'd been selected as an Ushiromiya family servant. It was like learning about a new world, as though I'd been living in a world of darkness all my life, and thought I knew what the world was like, then finally learned what light was, and saw the world for the first time. It was joy. Excitement. Beato had only used my fingers, made a key ring dance, and turned a key into a butterfly before hiding it in a locker. But I'd understood it with my body. If I'd moved my fingers a different way, the ring could have flown into the air instead of just dancing. And I could have turned it into a scurrying lizard instead of a butterfly. I could have done anything. True, Beatrice's magical power was still weak. It had all happened in the little world behind the backs of the servants, who were filled with anti-magic toxin. However, inside that tiny short-lived world, I could do anything at all. Beato just happened to settle on making them dance and turning the key into a butterfly, but if she wanted to, she could have done anything else. The endless sensation of that free, unrestricted power, I could still feel it in my fingertips. Could it be that, along with that sensation, a fragment of that magical power might also remain? I can tell. It's still there. There's still just a bit of it there, along with the sensation. I can do it. I can still do it. Ah, a single spot of golden light suddenly lit up in this dark room. It was right between my clasped hands. I'm thinking of the scene where Gohan taught Videl how to use energy in Dragon Ball Z. When I slowly opened them, I could see a single dot that sparkled gold. What is... Shannon didn't know what that light meant. How could light appear from the palm of my hands? Moi Pai. And yet, even with this miracle right in front of her, she couldn't understand what it was. She just sat there with her mouth open in disbelief. However, to me, this was just the return of that bit of sensation in my fingertips. The golden dots spread out and became a small gold butterfly. It flapped its wings and scattered gold sparks about like a cartoon fairy. To Shannon, it probably just looked as though a gold butterfly was flapping its wings. Of course, that alone was a miracle that she could hardly grasp. But to me, it was like a remote control plane in the shape of a butterfly. I could control that gold butterfly however I wanted, not clumsily with threads. I could make it flap, dance, play through the air as I wished. I was taking a walk through the air as that little butterfly. The golden glint of it pierced the darkness of the small room as it danced about freely. It was an entrancing pleasure. However, that sensation of my fingers began to weaken. I could tell that the few magic butterfly scales left in my fingers were going away. Finally, the gold butterfly flashed and turned to dust, like a firework run out of juice, falling down and disappearing without a trace. Oh, what on earth just happened? This is magic. It's really fun. But magic? Yeah, magic. There was still some magic left in my fingers, so I was able to use it, but if I became a real witch, I'll be able to use it whenever and however I want to do anything. Now that I've learned how fun this can be, I don't want to go back to being human. Being a servant is just too boring, so I'm going to become a witch. But become a witch? Well, wait. I've already made my decision, Shannon. It's been fun. I'll give you this room. You can use it by yourself. Later. Goodbye. But wait. As Shannon called out repeatedly for me to wait, a massive planetarium swallowed me up. In the sea of the pitch-black, starry sky, I was alone. We are alone here. I'm done acting the part of the servant. I'm going to modify this world. Indeed. Understood. In that case, what will you do? Being a wonderful servant like Shannon wouldn't be bad, but now that I know how fun it is to be a witch, that feels like a boring dream. I can't go back anymore. What will happen to Shannon? Shannon can just be Shannon and stay as a respected servant. She'll stay the same, but from now on, it won't be the two of us together, but her alone. Farewells are sudden. Is that not the phrase? Very well. Being fickle makes life more entertaining. And what of you? I want to become a witch. I want to become Beato. But I am already Beatrice. You'll still be a witch, and my friend. I'm modifying the world so that Beato is me. So, I'll be a witch who is a friend of Beatrice? Pretty much. So, from now on, you're a different witch. I understand. Then what will be my new name? I'll put that on hold until I can think of one. You'll be nameless for a while. Sorry about the trouble. Not at all, not at all. This is my precious name we're talking about. You had better take your time and think carefully about it. You've been Beatrice's friend, Lambda Delta, since she was young and couldn't use magic yet. When we first met each other, you'd always hide my things and make fun of me, Gape. I see. And when Beatrice finally learns the ways of magic, I become a friend on equal footing with her. Perhaps that would make me sort of a big sister to you. Yeah, that sounds nice. What are we going to do about how we talk? Beatrice's voice is that of a woman of high station. Shall I give that to you as well? Yeah, I'll inherit the way she talks. Indeed, I comprehend. Or perhaps I shouldn't say it like that. I'll need to find a good way to sound like Beatrice's big sister-like witch friend. Yeah, or should it be, indeed? Now there's a nice dignified voice. Okay, then how about, no wait, then what of my appearance? Good point. I've got a sort of blood-red witch look. Why not choose a different color for yourself? When Beatrice wanders the mansion at night, she is often seen dressed in white. Yes, I suppose ghosts are classically white. A witch in a white dress. Let's try putting it all together. I need a different look from the witch in the demon red dress. A white, noble witch. Unlike the time with the red witch, I'm thinking about my own look now. So I'd like to make it beautiful and cute if I can. A white dress, a noble look, like one of noble blood, but with a dark, sarcastic streak. No, she's like a tomboy princess, so her voice is a mix of formality and rudeness. Then the dress should be the exact opposite, to make a nice contrast. Then, what of this form? Is this the form of the new Beatrice? How beautiful. Just like a noble princess. I've taken a liking to this form. This will be quite satisfactory. Not bad. You look great, Beato. I like it.